Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka the man of the people, coming to you with just over a week to go into the NFL draft, which takes place in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Today, we had the chance to talk with General Manager Dan Morgan, and I'm just going to go ahead and give you a spoiler alert. Even though I hope you watch to the end, there's not going to be any breaking news at this point, but certainly there's an opportunity to give you the latest news and developments for this Carolina Panthers team. And then also at the end, we're going to give you a little bonus information, talk about some other things that are going on around the NFL that I believe that you guys may have an interest in. Going to ask for that big favor. That big favor is we got to get to 20,000 subscribers, right? So here's what I'm asking. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you've done two of those, you haven't done the other third, right? So always do that. Leave a comment. Just say, hey, what's up, Chris, at the least. That'll help these videos continue to be found by other Carolina Panther fans and help us continue to grow. So, oh, and always there's an opportunity to become a member. Links in the description. So let's go ahead and get into it. And let's start by first looking at the draft picks that these Carolina Panthers have for this upcoming 2025 draft next week. I won't read them all to you, but we have a lot, starting with round 1, number 8 overall, and round 2, 3, 4. Again, I'm not going to read them all, but there it is for you guys to digest, consume, and understand. That's what we're going to be looking at for our 2025 draft pick. So, in talking with Dan Morgan today, one of the things that they got right into talking about was will they trade back, right? So will they accept the trade for somebody that's wanting to jump up, possibly getting a quarterback or something like that, and then allow them to get more picks and move back? Absolutely. He's open to that. And that's something that, when I say spoiler alert, we're not going to get anything that's really breaking news today. Dan told me that well over a month ago in Indianapolis that they were open to trading back and how it could be a good thing for them. But Dan today said something that makes you feel like he is really, really hoping that they have the opportunity to trade back.
At number 8, if we get stuck there and we're not able to trade back, if we're not in love with the player there at number 8 and we can't trade back, then we're going to be ready for all different types of scenarios. So there's some really good players that we like. It's just not one position. But we feel like it's a good draft and there's a lot of talent. So we're going to be ready for all scenarios.
So he said it at the very, very beginning. So I'm going to play it one more time in case you didn't catch it, because he says it real quick.
At number 8, if we get stuck there and we're not able to trade back, if we're not in love with the player there at number 8.
So he said at number 8, if we get stuck there. So that stood out to me, right? Meaning that I feel like he's hoping that that is something that they're able to do. But he said it there in that clip. He still went on to say they are without a doubt prepared for other scenarios. They're not going to be butthurt if they don't get that number 8 trade and have to make a pick there. And, he started off his press conferences by thanking the team around him. And let me tell you, without taking 20 minutes to talk about it, there are so many people involved with creating that draft board. I mean, dozens of people. And in this day and age with sports science, technology, and all these things, I can promise you they have a zillion scenarios to follow this draft through the first 7 picks to decide what they're going to do with their 8th pick if they indeed do not get a call to get for somebody to trade up for them to go back and get some more picks. So coverage will be coming to you next Thursday. So make sure if you haven't subscribed, turn on your notifications that you do so, because I will be going over things and analyzing those things as they happen. Now, something else that also helps them be in a position and be pretty open to trading back is that front 7, aka your defensive linemen and your linebackers. They feel like it's a good deep draft for that, and that helps them say, we don't have to get our guy at number 8. We can trade back and possibly still get our guy. Those are some things. Additionally, I speak about, I don't do a lot of heavy analysis between, the end of the season and until the draft, because things change so rapidly. So going back to Indy, it was a talk of, man, how could you not draft a defensive player with your first pick? Well, that's because they haven't done anything. Well, since then, they've made acquisitions, picked up a lot of free agents on the defensive side. So admittedly, that urgent need on the defensive side is still high. Defense still has a lot of improvements. Dave Canales talked about how that was just not up to his standard last year. Well, they're still a lot further along and improving that as of today, April 15th, than they were well over a month, probably about 6 weeks ago in Indianapolis. So that those things all combine to say, yeah, there's some flexibility, and I think that no doubt Dan Morgan wants the opportunity to move back in the draft. We'll see whether or not it happens, if he gets a phone call or not. We're going to talk about some other news that's been happening in the NFL. May give you some reason to believe we may or may not be able to move back. A few other things that were touched on today. Dan Morgan, expectedly, any general manager would expect is not going to tip their hat unless they really, really want to. So when asked today about various positions, and I'll just say a few, wide receiver, Dave Canales at the owners' meeting, that was the last time he was able to speak with the media, mentioned that he was really happy about the wide receiver room, specifically Xavier Legette and him continuing to develop. So Dan Morgan was asked about that. He said, yeah, I agree with Dave, but things are still set up for us where we have our draft board and we're going after the best guy available. We're not going to be reaching for any guys, and we want competition in as many places as we can get. So as things fall, things will fall as they should, and we'll just continue to go through our draft board. Touched on the tight end room. Again, basically saying the same thing. Now, he was asked about Jalen Walker, the Georgia product, and said, he has an idea for how he could fit within our scheme, but he's not the only guy that he's out there looking at. So they'll just continue to see what things look like and how they may fall. Didn't say he's high up on our board or not, but I'm sure if there's any hand tipping that goes on, it'll be done much closer to the draft when these teams are maybe thinking about trading and moving up, moving back, that kind of thing. So we're a little bit more than a week away. Dan Morgan, I was about to say Dave, but Dan Morgan did give us a little information about, hey, just what is it like as we get closer and closer to the draft day? Is your phone starting to ring off the hook that the news with the New Orleans Saints and other teams, is that making your phones ring? And he touched on that today.
Obviously, the week of the draft, you make your calls and, you talk to people about, hey, we'd be willing to move out of this spot. What are your plans, with your pick? So I think it's a communication thing throughout the week with other GMs and other personnel people around the league. And then once it gets to draft night, if you do choose to move up and, a team like Buffalo was willing to trade out of that pick, we knew that. So we could go up and we could get Xavier. So.
All right. So that was him talking about what the final week is like, and also just touched on what it was like last year and the team being able to trade up a spot to get Xavier, which just gives them some flexibility for a fifth-year option and securing him a little bit longer. Now, in terms of one more thing that I want to talk to you guys about, Colin Granger. I'm not sure how to say that last name yet. Picked him up last week it was, and he's a guy that, of course, is news buzzworthy because it's so interesting that they picked a guy who did not play basketball in college, has not played basketball since the 8th grade, but basically just verified what I reported last week is that being out in Seattle, they had some contacts there, and a player that went, did the same type of thing, not playing much football in college, told them about Colin. They said, hey, why not take a stab at it, get some good attributes to being a tight end, and we have 90 guys that we need to put on a roster, so it's just try it out. Why not? It's not going to hurt anything. Can let the guy go if it doesn't work out. So a little bit more information there about Colin. So that's really the summary from today's pressers. I just saved you a good 20 minutes from watching the whole thing and seeing what was talked about there. But I'm going to talk about a few other things with the team. Ikem Ekwonu, our left tackle, will they or will they not pick up his option? Well, they have until May the 2nd to determine if they're going to do that. Van said, no rush. We have a plan. And certainly, same thing with Taylor Moton, and whether or not they're going to be picking up guys, whether or not they do, it's not any indictment on any guys on the team. They're just trying to get a good roster. You got to appreciate that. And I feel like, if I'm a guy on this team and I'm hearing him talk, it keeps you on your toes, right? It keeps you on your toes to hear, like, hey, anytime we can get some competition, I mean, unless you're, right? Because Bryce Young got benched last year. I think it's a good pressure to have on these guys to know, like, not necessarily that you could be gone at any moment, but just make sure you're working hard to keep your position on this football team. Let's go ahead and talk about top 30 visits. I'm not going to read them all to you. I'm just going to show them to you on the screen here. I'll touch on some of them, but here are the guys that they have brought in for their top 30 positions. As I let you soak this in, please do not get too overly excited, happy about a guy that you see on this list, because they're just trying to do some homework, right? Just trying to continue to leverage things. Here's the second page of the top 30 visits that they had here. Various positions: defensive tackle, defensive end, tight ends, linebackers, edge, many edges, wide receiver. This was as of the tail end of last week, the top 30 visits for the Carolina Panthers guys that they had coming into the stadium for you to see. Another thing would be NFL news-wise. The draft is next Thursday, and the NFL has released the list of players that will be in attendance. And I'm just going to show you that list of these players. Sorry, that was wrong, but here you go. Jackson Dart. You got to like his name as a quarterback, right? Jackson Dart. He's going to be there along with Travis Hunter, who, let me just go ahead and pause on this one right here. So this is a list of, again, confirmed, meaning other guys could have been invited, a.k.a. Shedeur Sanders, and just decided that they were not going to attend. But you saw Travis Hunter was one of the 8 people on that list there that we just displayed. Good old Travis Hunter today, I'm sorry, it was not today, but it recently was made known that he's saying, hey, if a team out there considering me wants to pigeonhole me to just one side of the ball and are not going to be open to allow me to play on the other side. So that means if you think that I'm a wide receiver and you're not going to let me play cornerback, or if you think that I'm a cornerback and you're not going to let me play wide receiver, I'm quitting. Don't even try it. So, not mad at the guy for trying to have some leverage there to say, this is what I want to do, take it or leave it. Pretty sure if he gets put into a situation where they say, this is what you're going to do, and they're giving you millions of dollars, you're not, that NIL money is good. I wish I had a little bit of it. Was a guy from Tennessee said, hey, pay me more. He got paid in high school to go to Tennessee. And he's feel like, yeah, I need the market rate. Nevertheless, we're not going to get into that whole NIL discussion. But that was just me saying, Travis Hunter has said, don't want to play if you're going to try to pigeonhole me. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Here is the second page of the guys that have said they will be attending they will be in the green room for the NFL draft. And there you see, there's the second page of it all. So just getting you up to date with not only the Carolina Panthers, but some news around the league. NFC South foe New Orleans Saints, they have something to deal with right now. They have their quarterback, Derek Carr, who, when he was in there, they had a chance to win. When he was not in there last year, they did not win a single game. So the New Orleans Saints and their quarterback position is up in the air because Derek Carr, who has a shoulder injury, is strongly considering a surgery, which will likely have him out for the entire upcoming 2025 season. The Saints currently picked number 9, just one spot behind the Carolina Panthers in this upcoming draft. Could Shedeur Sanders now be an even stronger candidate for them? I don't know. We shall see. And one last thing I want to end on, and we're going to come back and do some more videos, and I'm going to schedule the video for you guys to call in, and it's been asked for. hey, Chris, when are you going to open up the lines for us to call in and talk about whatever we want to talk about? So it's coming very, very soon. But one other thing I want to talk about before I go is the mock drafts. I don't do one. I don't know if I'm ever going to do one, just because the logical man in me just goes say, man, it's insanely difficult. It's insane to be. If I could do the mock draft, I would instead be playing the lottery, becoming a millionaire, and just chilling, and just chilling, talking to you guys about my quest to travel and see all the NFL stadiums that there are, or something like that. So I don't do them, but I certainly will talk about the players that are involved for them. Before we go, I'm just going to share with you guys the current NFL mock draft by NFL.com's Adam Rank, just to share with you, give you something to think about until the next show that we have. So, number 1 pick goes to the Tennessee Titans. He has Cam Ward, the Miami quarterback, going there, number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. Number 2 will be the Cleveland Browns, who, man, I'm not going to go off on my little tangent about the richest of the NFL because I talked about the Tennessee quarterback earlier and his NIL deal. I was thinking earlier of telling guys about top 30 visits. Like, man, it must be nice to have the budget to just fly all these guys in. It may mean something, may not mean something. That's a good little budget. It is not a bad budget to get Deshaun Watson and he's a total bust and you're still in business. But I'm going to stay focused. Cleveland Browns with the number 2 pick. Abdul Carter, edge rusher from Penn State. Number 3 is the New York Football Giants with the number 3 pick, and has them with Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty as their pick. Number 4, Travis Hunter going to the New England Patriots. Again, this is a mock draft according to NFL.com's Adam Rank. Again, Travis Hunter, being the first Colorado guy, goes number 4, Heisman Trophy winner to the New England Patriots. Jacksonville Jaguars gets Trevor Lawrence some help with Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end. Up next is your Las Vegas Raiders with new head coach Pete Carroll and your boy Tom Brady as part owner. They're going for a cornerback, Texas Jade Barron. Again, Texas cornerback Jade Barron going to the Raiders. Number 6, Colston Loveland, Michigan tight end junior. And number 8, Carolina Panthers, Matthew Golden, Texas wide receiver, who is currently a junior. Again, this is according to Adam from NFL.com. And I want to say Adam Rank because there's more than one Adam, of course, out there. Believes the Carolina Panthers may get a wide receiver. So we don't know. I just wanted to share that with you. Hope you all enjoyed the content. I will be back again shortly. Make sure you do me that favor, like, subscribe, and at least leave a comment to say, hey, what's up, to help us continue to grow, reach our 20,000 subscribers. I appreciate everyone watching, and I'll see you again soon.